For hundreds of years, schooling has been a huge part of society. Today, it continues to be a high priority to educate the youth.
However, certain problems have recently arisen in today's society, which hampers the youth's ability to attain the highest level of education possible: funding.
Due to the failing economy and lack of overall money, the California state government has deemed it necessary to cut down on the amount of money used in the education department.
As a result from the budget cuts, schools are beginning to fall to subpar levels. Many teachers are not qualified, schools are not kept safe and clean, and programs are being cut out of schools, especially music and art programs.
In this documentary, we will explore the causes, effects, and preventive tactics of this problem. To make matters clear, we will guide you through this chart, showing school enrollment rate at different levels of schooling. This graph, acquired from a chart found in the U.S. Census Bureau, illustrates the recent situation of students dropping out of school in relation to schools' funding. As one can clearly see, because of the economic downturn, the enrollment of students in high school is only a mere half. Now that you have an idea of just how big the gap is between the enrollment of elementary school and high school, we are going to have an interview with Phil Kwan, the superintendent of Cupertino Union School District, and he will characterize this problem of school funding for us.
Basically, I think the problem stems from public education being underfunded for many, many years, and it's exacerbated by the problem of the economic crisis that we're currently in. And so a combination of that is very problematic for schools. Many schools, Cupertino was one of the first schools in the county, and not something to brag about, but filed a qualified budget at first interim. I anticipate that there will be at least over half of the districts in California that will be in a qualified position comes the second interim reporting, which is a snapshot of your district's budget as of January 31.
After hearing the voice of a professional, we will hear from a couple high school students, listen for their understanding of school funding, as well as their personal experiences.
So, could you just state your name and where you go to school?
I'm Alex Anderson, and I go to school at Menlo Atherton High School.
Okay, Alex, and would you say you like your school? And
yeah, I like it.
Could you just tell us a little bit about it? Start?
It's pretty diverse. There's a lot of people from EPA, which is like a ghetto, and a lot of people from like Menlo Park and Atherton, which is not the ghetto, so there's a pretty big diversity.
About the school, would you say it's more wealthy or more poor, the financial state?
There's a pretty big government-funded loan to pay for a new performing arts theater, and the government does give us a lot of money yearly because we're considered a special needs school. Yeah.
So the resources that students have, should you know those?
I think we have pretty good resources. A lot of the teachers have smart boards, which are like high-tech whiteboards, I guess, that like sync up with the computers.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we also have classrooms with chalkboards.
Are there programs?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of really dedicated teachers who spend a lot of time doing extra stuff to work with the students who need extra help.
If you would be able to get academic help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could go to the library or to any of my teachers after school and they'd help me.
Could you give a personal example of that?
I sometimes go in at lunch to English because we're reading like a really confusing book. So sometimes I ask for help with that.
And the teacher's always open?
Yeah, she's always there at lunch and she can just explain stuff.
What do you know about other schools' financial states?
Not much. Really, actually not much at all.
With the economic downfall, there's probably going to be huge budget cuts. How do you think this will affect the students at your school?
Well, I know it already has with the Performing Arts Center. It's still being built, but it's taking a lot longer than it should. It's already like 3 years behind because of the money.
What do you think you would be able to do to help other schools like with less funds and not as quality teachers?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I think that the schools, I don't know. I'm not sure if there's much that I can do for any other schools.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
No problem.
I'm interviewing you for a documentary on school funding. Would you like to give us some background information about yourself?
I'm Ren, and I'm a senior this year at Los Gatos High School.
What would you consider is your school's financial state?
It's very stable right now because we have a lot of outside donations, but we do have had some cuts because of current economic issues.
What do you know about the fundings at your school?
It's usually, well, we're funded privately by a lot of the residents of our town. Other than that, I know we have a few foundations which raise money for our school.
Do you think students have a good amount of resources?
Yes, I would say so.
What resources are you lacking?
We're not exactly lacking in resources. I guess we could have a few more programs that other schools have. We're lacking, basically, we don't have an art AP class, or we're also missing a few other AP classes, but the classes that we do have right now have really good facilities.
Does it support students with special needs?
We have a lot of special ed classes actually, and we have quite a number of full-time faculty who specialize in dealing with students with needs.
If needed, are you able to get quality academic help?
Yes, we have a very stable tutoring system, both during school and after school. We have a very successful tutorial system where all the students are able to go to their teachers for help right after school. And also between classes, most of the teachers are available in their rooms to answer any questions that the students may have. But also there are student tutors, and they actually have a program running in the school where you can sign up, and for a really small fee, you can have upperclassmen teaching the lowerclassmen.
Do you think the economic downturn will affect your school's funding at all?
I would say so, yes. We've had a few cuts because of this, but most of the private donations have made up for what we have suffered.
What would you do to help other schools to become a better learning environment?
I think schools should have more partnership programs and links to support each other through funding. Perhaps also cooperative fundraising programs for multiple schools instead of just one.
So far in the interview, you seem to have very good funding at your school so far. So the last question would be, what do you think about other schools' financial state, not yours?
I know a lot of schools have suffered quite some budget cuts, and I would definitely advise just the best way right now to make up for it would be more fundraising and to secure maybe company and corporate sponsorships.
The second high school interviewee, Ren, mentioned fundraising as a way to help schools' financial state. Here we have Ben Liao, the president of Cupertino Union School District Board of Trustees. He will tell us why we might need parcel tax.
We cannot depend on the state to give us all the funding. We have to do it ourselves locally so that our money will stay locally for our educational purposes. Thank you.